Mayor Kathi Hemken from the city of New Hope joining us for her weekly update. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine, thanks.
Thanks for being with us. We have a lot to talk about in the next few minutes, a lot going on in the city of New Hope. Let's begin with a big thank you. Elections recently held, and you have some people to thank in the city.
Oh, we do. This election doesn't take place all by itself. We have a city clerk that's very, very cognizant of what should happen, and she's very well organized. The office specialist was a big help to her this year. This was her first election, so that was really nice to have her there with us. The other part that I want to do is thank the people that you don't even notice, the ones that are bringing the equipment, the public works guys. They're bringing the equipment out there, they're bringing it back, the police officers that are making sure everything is good and safe, and all those wonderful election judges that spent 12 hours, 14 hours working at the polls and making sure that it was done properly and accurately. So thanks to them.
Yes, definitely. Thanks to everyone who was involved in that very hard process. Let's move on to another note about something coming up in the city, an agreement between the city and the county that also involves a few neighboring cities. Give us some background and some information on what this is.
Well, after the death of Floyd, we decided that we needed to do something. So we went to Crystal and Robbinsdale and Hennepin County, and we have a joint agreement with them. We're going to embed a social worker that will be located at the New Hope Police Department, and that social worker is being paid by the three cities, the wages, and the benefits will be paid by Hennepin County. So basically, the cities are getting a third of a social worker and a fifth of the cost. And now this social worker will they won't go out with the police officers, but they'll go afterwards and bring information on where they can get some help. If they have some mental health issues, they'll be able to get them some help and where to go. Instead of having 8 or 9 different people you have to call, we'll have one person coming out with all the information for them. So this is really a benefit to the city.
And I'm sure more information to come, so we'll pass that along in future updates. In past updates, we've been talking about the CARES funding. You wanted to give another update of how that is going, in specific with West Metro.
Well, we received the 1.6 million, and now we have to send in paperwork to show where we're spending that money. So AEM is helping us with that paperwork, and it's being submitted this week. A lot of that money is going to public safety, so that would be the police department and the fire department, because the fire department went on a duty crew, which meant there were 4 workers at each station at any one time, so that the whole department didn't get infected in case they got struck by COVID. And then with the police department, we're looking at buying body cams for them and the extra time that they had spent because of COVID. So we've got the money and we're spending it on public safety.
We want to move on to tax statements. It's that time once again this year to see those coming in the mail. You have a quick note for what residents in New Hope should look for.
I do. Well, you should have gotten your tax statement by now, or at least you'll get it this week. Look at the city taxes. The levy for New Hope went up 3.4%, and that's mostly for wages this time. But if you notice your tax statement, it shouldn't go up more than like 2% because of our tax base has increased and our market values have increased, and we have a lot of commercial property and industrial property too. So it should be a more manageable tax increase this time.
Next item is some news for business owners in the city of New Hope. The networking group is back at it once again. Tell us how residents and businesses specifically should get involved.
Well, the next meeting is the 18th of November. It'll be virtual. If you don't have that connection, you can go to the city's website and then the planning department and ask for that website connection. You really should listen in on those. A lot of good information comes at those meetings. Information about what we're doing with businesses, how we're trying to help them where we can. So it's really an important meeting. They're going to start meeting once a month instead of twice a month. And so again, you'll get that information from the city website.
Very good. Website there at the bottom of the screen, newhopemn.gov, to find out more. We've been following the path of the certification of bills, utility bills for city residents. And Mayor, how is it going now? Heading in the right direction.
Okay, these are bills that people owe that haven't paid. It started out at $407,000. It's down to 195,000. We'd really like to get it down to zero because we don't want to have to certify this on people's taxes if we don't have to. Now, it doesn't get certified on everybody's taxes. It just gets certified to those uh, taxpayers that didn't pay the bill. And so hopefully we'll get it down a little bit more, but I'm not sure we can after this point.
Couple very visible ways that Public Works is out helping residents is with snow plowing and street sweeping. You have a few notes about both of those activities in the city. What should we know and what has just happened?
Okay, first of all, I want to tell you about the street sweeping. Um, the guy who was supposed to do it, the company that was supposed to do it, had some problems with the machinery. So we said, oh, never mind, and we'll do it ourselves. So we got really busy and was sweeping streets like crazy because we knew that snow was coming. We wanted to get that stuff up before it snowed, and we did. So that was very impressive. Now, about the snow plowing, when it snows, an emergency is called, and you cannot park in the street. Well, you never can park in the street between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., but you can't park in the street with a snow emergency until it's plowed from curb to curb, because otherwise it ends up the plow has to go around you and basically it plows you in. But they don't have any other way to do that. So when there's a snow emergency, you should be able to see it on the reader boards. Sometimes there's a note that'll come up on the website, but just keep your car off the street, put it in your driveway or someplace else so that we can get those streets plowed.
Makes sense to us. Let's head over to Park and Rec, talk about a lot that's going on. First off, a few new programs that sound pretty exciting. What are those new programs?
Well, the Vital Safe at Home is a program. The 4-hour driving seminar is happening this week. Also, the winter dance lessons are taking place now at the ice arena. One of the exciting things I think is they're starting to plan for the 2021 safety camp. And that usually happens in the summer. So that means winter can't be very long. Summer must be just
Right.
ahead because if they're planning, it takes a lot of planning to pull that off. So they're having meetings with the fire department and the police department now, getting organized as much as they can. We'll continue to organize as if it's going to happen. And of course, if COVID gets any worse, it won't. They'll have to cancel again, but at least everything in place to do it if we can.
All right, let's head over to the golf course and find out what's happening there. They got a bonus week here in November.
They did. That first week in November was just fabulous. And then it snowed. And I looked outside my window and the geese are walking on the lake. So it looks to me like it's probably not going to open again. They did tell me that it would open if it got nice. The way to find out that, you can call the golf course and see if they're open, or you can go online and see if you can make a tee time. If they're able to open and it's not froze, I think they will, even if it's just for a day or two. In the meantime, they're top dressing the greens with some sand, and they're getting the irrigation system blown out. So they're getting ready for winter, but they're hoping that we can have another weekend maybe of golf.
Well, let's hope so. We'll see what happens. Speaking of ice, let's head over to the ice arena. This is where the ice is supposed to be all the time, and it is. And that's a very busy place. What's happening there?
It is. Well, of course, you can always go ice skating on Friday nights from 6:30 to 8, and on Sundays from 4 to 6. And you do that by calling in, call the ice arena, go online and make an appointment, a reservation, and because they can only have 25 people on the ice at a time. So that'll happen. Most of the ice now, though, is being rented by the youth hockey, and so they use the ice, and of course they're restricted on how many kids can be on the ice, so they have to take more ice time when they do that because of the restrictions. The girls and boys hockey teams are practicing, they're scrimmaging, and again they're distancing as much as they can, and no more than 25 on the ice. So the ice arena is up and running and going strong.
It is a hopping place. And one more look ahead to summer next year would be the pool. And I understand some activity happening around the pool. What is that?
See, summer is just about here.
Right.
I mean, really, if we're talking about all this stuff.
Sure.
They're still planning on a June opening. And what they're doing now is they're ordering the furniture. They're getting the software for the lighting system in. They're looking at how much staffing they're going to need. They're calling places that had their pools open this year and find out how they did that, so that hopefully we're going to be able to open that pool. We might have to restrict the number of people that are in it at a time, depending on how COVID is going. And of course, all of this information changes weekly.
Mhm.
So depending on where we are, we will or will not open in June, but we're hoping to open if we can.
All right, we'll keep you up to date with these regular updates. Let's go ahead to human resources and a few things happening there related to the police department. Bring us up to date on those items.
Well, we hired a new police clerk. Her name is Riley McIlrath, and she's getting orientated and she's getting the little tour. And she has started, this will be her second week on the job. We also we had 35 applications for police officers, and those interviews were all done virtually this last week. And now they'll have a little in-depth personal interview this coming week and the next week. And then after that, we'll start doing the background checks and all the other stuff that we do before we hire the police officers.
We've mentioned COVID a few times during the update here. We have another COVID-related item, and this has to do with face masks. You have some opportunities for residents to get face masks. How does this work?
Well, the fire department in New Hope, the one on Xylon and 42nd, is giving away free face masks from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. All they have to do, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
All they have to do is walk into the front door. There's a little vestibule there. The masks are there. They're asking people to take what they think they can use. If they're going to give them to their family, they're welcome to take for their family. We want everyone to be wearing a mask all the time. And so they're free. They can just stop by and pick them up. I talked to the police chief this morning. She says they have a whole bunch of them. So feel free to just, when you're at Hy-Vee, just run across the street and pick up some face masks.
Very nice. Two final items to touch on. The In Focus photo contest. We mentioned it's been well underway, and now it's chance again for residents to vote. How do they do that?
They can either vote online by going to newhopemn.gov/infocus, and they can vote. They can look at all the pictures and vote online, or they can go to City Hall and vote in person. Now, the other thing that's happening is they're getting together a group of people who will judge all of the photos, and they'll give awards for the people, place, and landscaping. But what you're voting for, what people are voting for, is the People's Choice Award. And there's a dollar amount that goes with that. So whoever gets that award will get a check. Don't know how much it is, though.
Fun event through the city. And again, the city uses a lot of those photos throughout the year in different publications. Final note, you just wanted to make a mention of District 281, the school district, and some of the things that they are going through right now and some of their updates. What is that latest information?
Well, I know if you have kids in school, you're getting that information from the school. But if you don't have kids in school, and you might be wondering what in the world is going on. Well, they're doing the distance learning plus right now. And they were going to go to the tiered start and the hybrid learning on the 16th. They're not going to be able to do that. So they're going to have to stick with the virtual learning plus, and at least until further notice. So if you're wondering what the kids are doing, that's what they're doing. And, they're trying really hard to get everybody back in if they can. I do have to make a note that they're still feeding the kids, all of them. So the people can drive by the drop-off places if you've got children and get a breakfast and a lunch for those children.
That is wonderful. A lot of information from the mayor today. If you want to find out more about some of the things we mentioned or get signed up for some of the things that are coming up, newhopemn.gov, the website to go to. Mayor Hemken, thanks once again for your time. We look forward to talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Dave.